Welcome, everybody, to the Stoned On Sports Podcast. My name is Matt. Really happy to be here with you on this Thursday evening, getting ready to dive in week 11 of your NFL fantasy football season. Before we get into all that, I do want to say thank you to all of our subscribers. Excuse me, everybody that comes and hangs out with us in the chat, and everybody who tunes in. We really appreciate you, and we wouldn't be doing this without you. For those of you that are coming along after the fact, don't fret, we got you. All you got to do is drop your question down in the comments. We'll respond to you. We're here to help everybody out and make sure everybody is a winner. Tonight, you will see there are only two of us. That's because Ramey is en route to Kinnick Stadium out in Iowa to watch a 10-7 game this weekend. But I do have Kyle riding shotgun here. How's it going, buddy?
Pretty good. Very excited for this week's game, tonight's game. It's finally a good Thursday night game. Actually, I mean, this is one of the better slates of primetime games. Even Sunday, with Vikings and who was it? Vikings and Broncos? No.
Yep.
Yeah. It's not, but the Broncos have been playing a lot better, especially defensively. But this may be the best Thursday night game of the season.
That wouldn't surprise me.
No.
Division matchup. The Bengals really need a win.
They're Ravens both coming off losses.
Yep.
Both coming off losses last week. So rough. But yeah, just go right into it. Bam. Bengals. Where's the thing at?
I don't know.
There it is. Bengals 5-4 at Ravens 7-3. Line here through DraftKings is Baltimore -3.5, and the total is at 46.5. It could go under.
I was just thinking the same thing, dude. Like that.
Yeah.
That number seems about right. Both teams can put up points. Baltimore's defense kind of got abused a little bit last week. We'll see if the Bengals can follow suit there, but it's going to be tough for them without T. Higgins. Trenton Irwin stepped up last week, got you a touchdown. If you played him in DFS, you were happy because I think he cost like a nickel or something like that. I kind of have a feeling that Gus Edwards is going to score a touchdown tonight. I didn't really think to plug that into our parlay, but we tend to go pretty conservative with those same game parlays since you can't go broke making a profit.
That's true. That is true. These guys already played once in week 2. Ravens won 27-24. I don't really think you can count that one because Joe Burrow was basically hobbling around on one leg. Another fact I read today, Bengals have lost 13 straight road primetime games. That's ugly.
Yeah, it is.
Ugly. But Joe Burrow's playing very good. Very good. Since week
hold up, buddy.
What up?
We got Blue Yays here with us. Sweet. How's it going, Blue? Did you get that basement painted?
Yeah, you better get on it, man. Hopefully you took Ramey's advice and spent a little extra money on some paint. Only painted it once or twice instead of paint's just not been. It's my trade deadline this week, boys. Need some thoughts on potential trades. Yeah. Well, I will say this. So, like best playoff schedules, this is what I've been kind of keeping in mind when trades. Best playoff schedules for QBs is Russell Wilson and Josh Allen. Running backs is Eckler, Bijan, and Swift. These are all just, my opinion, what I kind of looked at today. Wide receivers is either, Lockett or Metcalf in Seattle, Cortland Sutton in Denver, and DeAndre Hopkins in Tennessee. He doesn't have too bad going weeks 15, 16, and 17. Worst playoff schedules is definitely Washington and Miami. So Tua and Sam Howell, I think, are somebody that you don't want to try and grab. Running backs, the Houston backfield does not look good for them weeks 15 through 17. Same with Mixon, who's going tonight, and Saquon Barkley in New York. But I mean, that team's pretty garbage. And for wide receivers, it's more of the same. It's Waddle, McLaurin, and Tampa Bay's receivers too. Their schedule is not great. Playoff schedule is not great. So there's a few players that are good and some that are not. But if they can make your team better, man, it's hard not to want to do that and pull the trigger.
So we got our first scenario here with that. Tyler Lockett and Mostert are available for a mid-round pick next year.
Yeah. I will say this playoff schedule is better for running backs for Miami. And I already listed Lockett as a good one. So I like both.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm a little sour on Geno, but Lockett has that 120-yard, 2-touchdown game upside. He does score a lot of touchdowns. We got another scenario too. Could also get Pollard for a wide receiver, maybe Kirk in a pick or another player. Tony Pollard, and we've talked about him quite a bit over the past few weeks, where he doesn't have the per touch efficiency that he did last year when he was paired up with Zeke in that backfield. Yeah. They've got Rico Dowdle, but they're not bringing him in there.
He's got best no touchdown upside. He hasn't scored shit for touchdowns. It's just
he hasn't, despite a lot of opportunity. I think if you view Tony Pollard as a buy low, have at it. Kirk, I think, especially with Zay Jones's legal troubles, he may be, looking at missing some time. There's still a bit to come out yet. I've read a few details about it, but I'm not going to repeat it. I think Kirk can be a high-end wide receiver too the rest of the season. So you're looking at trading a high-end wide receiver too for somebody who's been a low-end running back too up to this point.
Yeah.
I would be hesitant to do that one. Here's the deal. Mid-round pick next year, I would rather go look at in trying to get Lockett and Mostert because flags fly forever. Yep. I'll worry about next year's picks next year, and that's when I'll figure that shit out. But if you feel you're a legitimate contender and making those acquisitions is what it's going to take to put you over the top to make you feel like you've got a legit chance come playoffs here in a few weeks, then pull the trigger on it.
Yeah. I'm doing some research. I didn't realize how bad Lamar is with in the fourth quarter, I guess I should say. Just this season, they've blew they've blew leads in all 3 losses, including double-digit leads. And since the beginning of last season, they have 6 losses with double-digit leads. That's the most in the NFL. It's since the beginning of the 21 season, he has 13 touchdowns and 13 turnovers in the fourth quarter. That's not very good.
Those are Josh Allen numbers.
Yeah, or Jameis Winston, 30 and 30.
Hey, he still threw for 5,000 that year, though.
That's true. To put that in perspective, Burrow's had 25 touchdowns and only 11 turnovers in that same time frame. So his QB rating just plummets since 2021 when they have a fourth quarter lead. It's the worst rating in the NFL for any QB with at least 20 attempts in that situation. I expect the Bengals to win this on a field goal tonight.
That's a ballsy pick.
Yep. Sway's here. How you doing? Glad to have you back. I do love his profile picture there.
That's not bad. That's not bad. That's off a record of his.
Yeah. And Josiah's in the house again. It's going great, man. Glad you could join us tonight for our little Week 7 preview. What else you got for Bengals?
How about Week 11? Week 7 was a month ago.
Oh, Week 7. Yep, 7-11. What else you got for Bengals and Ravens?
I'm going to disagree with you. I think the Ravens are going to take this game. The line right now is Ravens -3.5, and with the hook, I would take them on that side of things. You're still looking at a very narrow passing tree there. Zay Flowers gets a lot of targets. Mark Andrews gets a lot of targets. Odell Beckham, for where you drafted him, I think has been a disappointment this season. He just scored his first touchdown yet last week, 1 grab for 40 yards, and good for him. And then Rashad Bateman, we'll see if that guy can stay on the field for more than 3 or 4 games in a row. I like Keaton Mitchell this week. I think he's almost like a poor man's Devon Achane. They have a very, very similar build. Achane is faster. Obviously, he's one of the top 4 or 5 guys in the NFL in terms of speed, which I said that kind of stupidly, but whatever. And Gus Edwards' role is very defined. He's getting that short yardage work. Once they're down inside the 10, inside the 5, that's who's going to get the rock. But that doesn't mean that Keaton Mitchell can't and won't score from 30 yards out or more, because we've seen him do it.
Yeah. He can do it in a second, though. He's got them abilities to break open some long runs. Ugh. It's a shame Higgins is out tonight. I think this will be a good game for him. Hopefully the other receivers step up again. Trent Irwin, Tyler Boyd.
Yeah, hopefully he can, hold on to the rock in the end zone.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah, because last week Boyd led in target share 30%. Chase was 6 for 5, 124 and 1, and Irwin was 4 targets, 2 receptions, 54 yards and 1. I guess I expect more of that with Tyler Boyd. The Ravens have been more vulnerable. If there is a vulnerability in their defense, their pass defense, it's the slot. So then outside receivers.
And these division games can get kind of fucky too. So
they can. And that's why we started saying I kind of like the under in this game.
Yeah.
It's going to be one of those bruiser games. So, but again, I still like the Bengals. You like the Ravens. Right. We'll see what happens.
Oh, line has moved to Ravens -4 as we speak.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm out here moving lines, son.
Yeah, you are. Okay. All right. We know we want to talk about this game, right?
Oh, yes.
Bears coming to town. Looks like Justin Fields is going to play, which is it's cool. It's encouraging for fantasy team owners that have him. It's encouraging for me. I have DJ Moore in a league, and he performed so much better with Fields lining up behind the center.
Agreed wholeheartedly. The shine is kind of off Teabag there. We'll see how much rust there is for him to knock off. We saw Kyler Murray come back last week and look pretty damn good, considering he was out for essentially a year, where you've got Justin Fields, who's only been out for a handful of weeks. I do like DJ Moore, just the fact that they really showed some good chemistry going up against Detroit's secondary, which has not been the greatest at times this year. I see the Bears did release Darrington Evans today. He had played a small role over the past few weeks, but that's about it. I don't really like any of the Bears running backs this week going up against Detroit's very, very stout rush defense. I think they're going to do what they can to make Justin Fields beat them through the air. I wouldn't be surprised if they have Anzalone spy on Fields for a good portion of the game as well, to try and keep his rushing under wraps.
Yeah. I picked up Anzalone in a league today and for a IDP and dropped somebody. I think Patrick Queen. I just had a feeling. Same thing you were saying. I'm like, he's probably going to spy a lot. And he played all the snaps last week. He's got a very high snap share. He's on the field more than Queen. So I rolled the dice on that. Herbert practiced fully. Khalil Herbert, I should say, just in case we're not talking about Justin Herbert, even though he's not on these teams, but practiced fully. He'll probably be activated Saturday, it sounds like, from what I read. But again, it doesn't really matter because I don't like any of the running backs. Lions allow the 5th fewest fantasy points per game to opposing running backs. Who I do like this week is Amon-Ra St. Brown. The Bears have allowed a league high 3 touchdown passes off of screens this season. They're also allowing 1.65 fantasy points per target off of screen passes, the most in football. ARSB is 6th in the lead in screen targets with 10. So I like that.
Nice. That was one hell of a complex way to make your
It,
case. I
it was.
appreciate that.
It
You know
was.
what? We do our homework here on the Stoned On Sports podcast, and that's why we do a kick-ass job of helping all of you manage your teams.
There's these things that you know, with all these stats and stuff, you can find a lot of things and look, and then you start just comparing the two teams and going, and I saw it today and I went, oh, I love that. I have him in a league as well. So I'm definitely, I mean, he's starting unless he's dead. I mean, honestly, it doesn't matter who he's playing. So, yeah, I don't, it'll be, I think Goff will have a good game too, just because he's at home and he's in a dome, and that the Bears are dead last in pressuring the quarterback at 27% of dropbacks. So,
yeah, Jared Goff is going to go off this week. I love pretty much everybody on the Lions side of the ball. I'm not real big on Monty this week. The Bears can stop the run. They do a very respectable job at that. I think this is going to be more of a Gibbs and Goff game. So we'll see how things play out there. We got Kip in the chat. What's up, brother? Appreciate you stopping by. Appreciate your support.
yeah.
Appreciate everybody here. It looks like we got a few folks here watching us. Any of you have any questions about start sit, or, you know, maybe some late waivers, anything like that, we're here to help. Just drop it in the chat.
Is there a way, check this out, when you look at the remaining schedules of the Lions and the Eagles, there's a real distinct possibility that the Lions can hop them and become the number one seed. It's possible.
It's possible.
The
Philly's in a brutal stretch right now.
Yeah, Philly's got obviously the Chiefs Monday night, then the Bills, the Niners, the Cowboys, the Seahawks, the Giants, Cardinals, and Giants. So the end of the season's kind of a cake, but the next 5 weeks are an utterly just, yeah, that's going to be tough. And you know what the Lions schedule is. I mean, it's not that rough.
It's not. I think New Orleans is probably the toughest team they have left, just because that's on the road.
Yeah.
Or Minnesota.
And the way that they've been playing. Jeez, they've been playing well. Let's see. Josiah, speaking on the Lions this week, I'm between Howell and Goff this week for fantasy. Yeah, I got to go with the home road splits with Jared Goff, and playing in a dome at Ford Field is just ridiculous. It's not even close. I realize Howell plays, slings the ball around. Who's the Commanders play this week?
The Giants.
Oh, yeah. The Giants have nothing to live for either.
That's one hell of a way to put it.
I mean,
nothing to live for.
Their season is just they got nothing going on there of anything. You know, what's his face got fired. The OC got fired. Or no, wrong team. That's the Bills. My bad. I still like Goff. Josiah, Goff.
Yep, I'm going to agree with that. I was just actually pulled up Sam Howell's home road splits. 7 touchdowns, 7 picks at home, 10 touchdowns, 2 interceptions on the road.
Interesting.
That is in 2 more road games. Yeah, just something interesting there. Otherwise, everything else is pretty much equal. He's averaging about 20 more yards passing at home than on the road.
Yeah. And
I'm going to go with Goff.
And Goff played exceptional last week on the road against the Chargers. I'm Goff 100%. Even though my homerism, my Lions pride.
We got Supersonic Loud Boy Enterprise in the house. What's up, Kip and Sway? Appreciate you stopping by. If you check us out on Spotify or any of the other produced and edited videos we put out here on YouTube, our intro music, you can find the full song on the Supersonic Loud Boy Enterprise YouTube page. It's a hell of a track.
Josiah, if you're still there, man, one quick thing on Goff. So I mentioned a little bit earlier, the Bears are dead last in pressuring the quarterback, only 28.7% of dropbacks. When Goff has not been pressured, he is completing 74% of his passes. That's 10th in the league for 8.3 yards pass per attempt. That's 5th with 12 touchdowns and 1 interception. If that doesn't change your mind or get you to start Goff, I don't know what will. He's just a great quarterback. He's the number 1 ranked quarterback on PFF season to date.
Yeah. And to be clear, like both are great options.
They are. But I'm, definitely 99% Goff, 1% Howell.
Sure.
Got any more things on Lions or?
No, I think I'm good there.
Sweet.
Let's move along. Eagles and the Chiefs. Monday Night Football. We've got a Super Bowl rematch. Chiefs are 7-2. Yep. One of those losses coming courtesy of the Lions at home week 1 on banner night.
Absolutely.
Put that in your barbecue and eat it. And then the Eagles are 8-1. From the Chiefs standpoint, look, at this point, we understand what this team is. It's Isaiah Pacheco's backfield, but this matchup is definitely not great. The Phillies are fantastic. The Eagles are fantastic against the run. Pacheco has been catching more passes this year, though, so in PPR, it makes him a little bit more viable than in half PPR or standard. To be clear, you're not benching him. He's been a borderline RB1 all season.
Yeah.
As far as pass catchers, it's Travis Kelce and flip a coin. I mean, you can eliminate who's that dickhead that's always hurt? Kadarius Toney,
Sky Moore. I mean,
yeah.
it's Rashee, right? It's Rashee Rice right now. I mean, it really is, and we'll see what he can do. This could be a game for him against that Eagles secondary that's kind of poor.
Yeah, it's possible. On the Eagles side, start him if you got him. There's nobody over there that you're benching. No. The Chiefs do have a pretty damn good pass defense, but at the same time, those Eagles receivers are elite. They're going to be without Dallas Goedert, who's got a broken arm. But he still, I mean, even prior to his injury, he wasn't getting a whole lot of love anyway. I know that was a big gripe of yours that you had him in a couple leagues or at least one. And that's been a gripe for a lot of other people out there too. If you have A.J. Brown, you're starting him. If you've got Devontae Smith, you're starting him. If you've got DeAndre Swift, you're starting him.
Oh, yeah. That's the one way the Eagles can attack the Chiefs is on the ground. He's having a good season. Swift, good, not great. Averaging 4.5 a carry, though. Yeah, if you could pick things up a little bit this week, it could be big for them. Look for Gainwell to get involved a little bit, too. I really think that's the only way they're going to win this game is effectively rushing the ball.
All right, so you have to choose one of the quarterbacks to start this week in that game. Who are you taking?
Hurts. Just because of the rushing touchdown upside.
Makes sense.
Mahomes rushes around and gets yards and stuff, but rarely scores a lot of rushing touchdowns. So that's why I'll go with Hurts.
That's fair. I accept that.
Yeah. But yeah, while the Chiefs are susceptible on the ground, the Eagles are equally susceptible through the air, which that's why I said Rashee Rice. We're still waiting on that big breakout game. This could be it.
We'll see.
Supersonic Loudboy also went with Hurts. Smart man. Smart man. And you're wearing your Go Blue stuff too.
That's it. And that beard is totally not dyed at all. That is still 100% naturally dark.
I'm sure it is. I know he's older than we are. So, and I got gray. And I got grays. And you got grays. So
I got a few.
Yeah. What else? And then, yeah, Pacheco, we started talking about. Eagles have allowed how many rushing touchdowns?
I don't know, couple.
One.
Half of a couple.
Yep. Let's see. No, it is 2 on the season. My bad.
So I was right.
You were right. No running back has rushed for more than 59 yards on him either. That's excellent. Just excellent. Jesus. What
Well,
I
I mean,
did look at,
too, like coming into this big of a game for the Chiefs, they're not going to put this on Isaiah Pacheco's shoulders. This game is going to be on
Mahomes
Patrick
and Kelsey.
Mahomes' shoulders.
Yep. It'll be the Mahomes and Kelsey show. Guys, other their ancillary players can pitch in here and there, and I like the Chiefs in this game.
You know what? I will go against you. I'm going to take the Eagles since it's 2.5. I mean, I think they can keep it within a field goal.
It's at Arrowhead, man. It's fucking loud there.
Yeah, Detroit went there and won.
They sure did.
Everyone's talking about how the Eagles are the best team in the NFC. Prove that shit.
Yep, I did when I was looking at 3 and outs today. The Chiefs are the lowest 3 and out percentage at 21-1. Guess who's number 2?
Detroit.
The Lion. Yep, 22-2. I'm like, damn, that's how you win ball games, man. That's how you win fucking ball games in the NFL. Stay on the field. But yeah, I think we pretty much rolled through everyone, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure Laporta's going to get his this week too.
I'm still shitty about that touchdown of Brock Wright last week. That should have been a Laporta, and then my ace would have hit, and all would be right with the world. But instead, the universe placed itself behind me and shoved cock and ass, and that was the outcome. That it went to Brock Wright.
All right, we are headed to Houston. Cardinals 2-8, won last week with the return of Kyler Murray. Headed to Houston, a Texans team that's 5-4 and on the rise, and got a lot of playmakers. And we got some comments. Blue Jays, Kirk in an 8th for Lockett and Pollard.
So I'm assuming that's an 8th round pick and not an 1/8 of weed.
It is legal in there too. It's legal in Canada.
That's true. It is Stone Down Sports Podcast here.
That's a great trade, Blue Jays. Throw in a pack of papers. Done.
You know what? I'm going to do this trade. Lockett on a game-to-game basis. I think he's the higher upside player. We were talking about that a little bit earlier. He's got that 120 and 2 upside. I'm not mad at buying low on Tony Pollard. I mean, an 8th round pick is nothing. That's somebody you're not even counting on to start. So, you know what? I'm going to make that trade, Blue Jays. It's like Pollard would be his RB4. Yeah, do it.
Yeah, I do it. It's still a damn good offense there in Dallas, regardless. I like hit my vape and now I'm choking on spit or something. I don't know.
Awesome. Thanks for telling us.
No problem. Jesus. I think Stroud has the rookie of the year wrapped up. Think he can win VP?
I think he'll get shown some love by the voters. I think for him to win MVP, they probably need to win the division.
Yeah.
I mean, he's putting up the numbers, and what I love about him is he doesn't turn the ball over.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just going to mention that. He's got 2,600 passing yards, just 2 interceptions. He has the 4th most passing yards in NFL history by a QB with 2 or fewer interceptions through 9 games. Not a rookie. All players. Ugh, be tough. The Cardinals, though, they are surprisingly good against the pass. They're 11th. They allow only 208 yards per game, passing yards per game. So I actually expect the Texans to run a little bit more. That's probably not going to happen. Stroud's just going to fucking throw the ball, but that's what I expect that should happen. But we'll see.
Sure. Yeah.
Do you know the only rookie to have won MVP award? Only one guy. Long time ago.
Kurt Warner.
Longer time ago than that.
I don't know. Just fucking tell me.
Jim Brown in 1957.
See, really?
Only one rookie has ever finished in the top 3 of voting over the past 35 years. Can you guess who that might be? It was in 98. It's got to help you. 98.
Peyton Manning.
Randy Moss. All right, good try. God, you suck at this. What do you got for Texans? And
Wait till next week, fucker. I'll have some
yeah.
questions for you, some obscure bullshit.
What do you got for Texans Cardinals?
First off, I like Cardinals in the points in this game.
Sure.
I think with Kyler Murray back, they're a much different team. I'm going to look for Hollywood Brown to rebound after last week's not so great performance. Kyler Murray run his ass out there. You've got him out there because of his running ability. That's, bonus points. It's the fantasy cheat code. From a running back perspective, I like James Conner in standard. He does have touchdown upside since, he kind of owns the backfield, but he's not going to do a whole lot out of the backfield. From the Texans' point of view, Dameon Pierce, I think, was limited today. If I saw that right, he was either limited or didn't practice. I'm rolling Devon Singletary out there again in a league. It's out of necessity. It's not something I'm bragging about. It's something, you do what you have to do at 2 a.m. when you don't want to go home alone. For me, that is running Devon Singletary out there.
It is. Dameon Pierce is just no bueno there. They're with him on the field, they're negative EPA per play, negative EPA per rush, and only 4.3 yards per play. When he's off the field, all those are positive. And they're 6.6 yards per play. It's just Singletary's becoming the man there.
Well, I mean, for sake of my fantasy team, I hope so. I mean, I'm running him out there as a flex play this week. I think he's decent if those are what your expectations are. If you're looking for a repeat of last week, I think you're going to be disappointed, though.
Sure.
From a wide receiver standpoint, I haven't seen, is Nico Collins practicing? Is he expected to be back this week?
Yeah, he's expected to be back.
So if he's expected to be back, then, I'm going to start him. I'll start Tank Dell. I actually really like Tank Dell this week. I know a lot of people are going to be on Noah Brown chasing previous production. I think with a healthy enough to play Nico Collins, that production may not be there, though. Robert Woods is also back, and like I was saying before, I kind of expect those two to cannibalize each other's production.
Yeah.
From a receiving standpoint, it's Dell, it's Collins, it's Dalton Schultz, and that's really it. If you're starting anyone else, there is a wide receiver floor or just a desperation flex play.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, if you got to go with Noah Brown, you could, but probably not as recommended this week. On the other side with the Cardinals, I like Marquise Brown this week, especially with Murray back. They didn't really hook up last week very much. I think he only threw the ball 4 times to him. However, the Texans have allowed 21 receptions of 20 or more yards, tied 5th most. That just screams Marquise Brown to me. They have the 5th highest air yards per attempt too at 8.7. Also screams Marquise Brown to me. But I think they're going to go to Trey McBride a lot too. I mean, I think they finally found out that, they have a pretty good fucking tight end there. Through week 7, he was tight end 32. Over the past 3 weeks, he's tight end 4, which he's now jumped up to 16 on the year. So,
yeah, he's a mid tight end one rest of season.
Yeah,
even when Ertz comes back, I think he'll cede a little bit of playing time, just because Ertz, even at his age, isn't garbage.
No,
but
Ertz is taller than McBride, so he might use him at goal line or in the red zone.
Absolutely. McBride's so damn fast, though.
He is fast. Okay, where are we at here? 34 minutes. Yeah, that's good. Steelers, Browns. If we started with an AFC matchup, we'll end with an AFC North matchup. Steelers 6-3. I just don't know how they're 6-3, considering they've been outgained in every game. At the Browns,
it's their turnover margin.
Yeah, it is. Cleveland's in this -1. It was earlier, unless it changed. It's -1.5 now, and the total's 33, so that's still the same. Let me just start out by saying a couple weeks ago, I especially trashed the Pittsburgh Steelers offense. And then the last 2 weeks, they have just totally turned it around, mostly by taking the ball out of Pickett's hands and giving the ball to the running backs. The first 8 weeks, they ran the ball 39.5% of the time. They're up to 55.5% of the time the last 2 weeks. And that new formula is winning. It's really, old great football, and Mike Tomlin knows it all there. Run the ball, you play good defense, and hope you don't have to put your team in a situation where Pickett has to, try and win the game.
Yeah, Kenny Pickett is not it. I don't see it with him. I don't really see him developing into a legitimate starting quarterback. I think he's fine as a backup. There's just so many other dudes I'd rather have than him. Deontay Johnson gets a shit ton of targets there, though. I expect that to continue this week. I've already eaten my crow on him from a couple of weeks ago. George Pickens he's that upside play. I like him in standard leagues more than I do PPR because he gets targeted a little bit farther down the field and he just doesn't get the volume of targets, but he's also that big play guy there. Jaylen Warren, that dude has looked electric.
Very good the last couple of weeks.
And there was some rumbling about him overtaking that backfield in the preseason as well. I know I was somebody who was a little bit higher than average on Najee Harris coming into the year. And this almost seems like a repeat of last year where, he didn't really do a whole hell of a lot in the first half of the season, but, come to the back half of the season, that's when he really turned things on. I'm not super excited to start either one of them. I will if I have to. I think they're both in that low to mid end RB2 range. 3 weeks is a trend, though.
It is.
Things are trending up for them.
Warren's looked good. Harris has looked good because he's got touchdowns 3 of the last 4 games, but Jaylen Warren, the last 2 weeks, week 9 and week 10, among running backs with at least 25 rush attempts, has the number 1 PFF offensive grade for running backs and the number 1 rushing grade for running backs. He's number 2 in yards after contact at 4.58. That's good. Ramondre is actually number 1. And the other thing, and the reason that he's able to do that, he's number 1 in breakaway percentage at 38.8. Breakaway percentage, if some of you guys listening don't know, tries to measure how much a defense needs to worry about the running back breaking a big play. The percentage is calculated by taking the total yards gained on runs over 15 yards and dividing it by the player's total yards. So it certainly helps to have a good line in front of you. But game-changing running backs like Warren's looked the last 2 weeks can shine. Even behind a offensive line. Steelers are middle of the pack, 16th ranked on PFF going into week 11. Who in the chat? Kyle's back. Kyle. My name's Kyle. Kyle Singer's back. I love it. I love his picture too. Full PPR. Pick 2 running backs, a wide receiver, a flex, and a tight end. It's got Madison, Ford, Keaton Mitchell, Freeman, Gainwell, Boyd, Gabe Davis, Brandon Cooks, McBride, and Fergie. I think the tight end I can take care of right away and just go with McBride.
Agree. Can't flex tight ends, by the way.
Yeah, especially with Texans giving up the 5th most completions over 20 yards. 2 running backs.
I'm going to take the upside of Keaton Mitchell, and I'm going to go with Jerome Ford. I think he's going to have a hell of a game this week.
Yeah. I agree.
Wide receivers, though.
I think there's a chance Gainwell could fall into the end zone this week, but I like that too. And a wide receiver, I think I like Tyler Boyd just because the Ravens' vulnerability in the pass defense is the slot.
Yep. I'm going to go with Tyler Boyd, and this might sound crazy. I'm going to go with Brandon Cooks. I understand Gabe Davis's home road splits are something to really behold, but at the same time, I understand he's been great at home. I ain't looking for him to do a whole hell of a lot against that Jets defense. I think that's going to be a low scoring, disgusting bullshit game, just like it was the first time around. Now we need a flex. It's not going to be Madison. Ain't going to be Royce. Damn. I mean, it's between Gainwell and Gabe Davis for me. I'm going to go with Gainwell. He's been getting some run here lately. And you said it earlier, there's a decent chance he could fall into the end zone this week. It just, for whatever reason, it seems like they'll get down close in the red zone and they'll pull DeAndre Swift and put in Kenneth Gainwell because reasons.
Yeah. And Cooks has just been not consistent enough to start, and Gabe Davis plays for one of the best offenses in the NFL that can't fucking score points, known as the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah. I'm going with and Kyle's in here too. Cooks over Davis. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I understand Carolina is not a good team, but at the same time, the way you beat them is through the air. I think they're going to give all their attention to CeeDee Lamb, and it's going to open up things for Brandon Cooks. I'm not expecting a huge game from him, but what I am expecting from him is a better game than Gabe Davis.
Yep. Yeah, I don't. No Gabe Davis. They got to figure some stuff out. Probably going to take a minute. And honestly, what ESPN I was reading, I mean, you got to build his confidence, Josh Allen's confidence back. And I wholeheartedly agree. Something's not all right there.
Yeah. Also, Kyle liked the stream for us and dropped the sub. Appreciate you, brother.
Sweet, man.
Glad to have you as part of the family.
Good luck on your matchup this week, dude. Or matchups.
Gabe only had 4 targets last time against the Jets. And
does anybody only
high quality targets either?
Right. Does anybody only just play one fantasy league? Because I don't know what I would just do with one. I'd be bored. And 3 is about enough for me. I could do a couple more probably, but of course I'm running my brother's team pretty much. Gabe only had what? Oh yeah, you just said that 4 targets again. Yeah.
On the Brown side, they're starting DTR this week. And look, I get it. You've seen what PJ Walker is going to give you, and they run DTR out there earlier in the season against the Ravens, and he just got his dick knocked in the dirt, but everybody said he looked great in the preseason. They like what they saw, and there was potential there. I mean, this really devalues $36 Amari Cooper. I think now you're looking at a very low-end wide receiver 2 or even a wide receiver 3. Elijah Moore, I'm not starting, but just we know the Steelers are struggling against running backs. We talked about that, I think, on Thursday. That's why I love Jerome Ford this week. I think he's going to have him one hell of a game.
Yeah.
We got Jake in here. Jake Torres. Hey, guys, if you don't mind answering my questions, first off, we answer every single question every single time, Jake. You got questions, we're here for you, brother. With the choice to pick 2 in a PPR league, Keaton Mitchell, Pacheco versus the Eagles, or Noah Brown, also Dobbs or Lamar. I'm going to go with Dobbs over Lamar. And I know on the surface it sounds crazy to pick NoHo Hank over an MVP award-winning QB. Dobbs is second in the NFL in rushing at the quarterback position. He's really doing a good job of gelling with his team there in Minnesota. I think there's better talent at the wide receiver position. And I think it's a better situation for him all around. So now we've got Keaton Mitchell, Pacheco versus the Eagles, or Noah Brown. We got to pick 2.
Go for it. I'm looking something up.
All right. I'm not a huge fan of the matchup for Isaiah Pacheco this week, but Keaton Mitchell is more of a boomer bust play at this point in time. He has kind of taken over that complementary role there in the Baltimore backfield. He's taken that away from Justice Hill, but the volume for that on any week-to-week basis is very inconsistent. I say if you need a floor play, take Pacheco. If you need ceiling, take Keaton Mitchell. And Noah Brown is another ceiling play. Usually when I'm looking at a situation like this, in fantasy, volume is king. And so who's going to get me the most guaranteed or as close to guaranteed volume as I can get? In this situation, it's those two running backs. Noah Brown, I think, is going to be a very boomer bust play. And if he booms, awesome. You're loving life. But there's also a chance he could go out there and give you, 2 for 32.
Yeah. Yep. I like that too. And he picked Dobbs, and I kind of agree with him too. Jake, check out our recap we did Tuesday night here on the same channel. We talked about the last 5 minutes of the show, and we did a comp, and one of them was Lamar versus Dobbs, and they're only like 11 points, fantasy points difference. A lot of close in a lot of statistical categories, but Dobbs' rushing ability is just nuts.
Yeah,
I definitely
appreciate you stopping by, Jake. Thanks for hopping in the chat. If you haven't already, please give us a like and subscribe. We'd really appreciate your support. We are here every Tuesday and Thursday evening at 7 Eastern, and we are also on every Sunday morning at 11:30 a.m. Eastern to help you with those last-minute lineup decisions. And while I'm talking about that, do want to let everybody know that we are going to be live next Thursday night, Thanksgiving. We'll have a couple games to wrap up and talk about, and we'll also be talking about the upcoming games from the weekend. We've even got a Black Friday game this year featuring two teams that I can't remember at the moment, but still it's going to be happening. We got Kyle. This is how his lineup is looking. Lamar, Ford, Mitchell, Devontae Smith, Tyler Boyd, Brandon Cooks, McBride, Dolphins D, debating on Bass or Butker. I'm going to go with Butker there.
Same.
Yeah, it's one of those things.
I don't put too much thought into kickers. Yeah. Same thing. Yeah.
With them, it's, find the best kicker you can that's on a decent team. And otherwise, if you have two, flip a coin. I would say, you're wasting a roster spot having two. Pick one and just go with them. For me, it's going to be Butker. Drop that and pick up some. See if you can get Rico Dowdle, who might get some increased run or something like that. Find you a stash. We're getting ready to go into the playoffs.
Yeah, great question, Kyle. Good luck on your matchup this week. Blue Yays. Would you do Jalen Reed and Bijan for KW3, Charbonnet, and Tank? He has Etienne.
So this is basically Bijan for KW3 and Tank Dell, because Jaden Reed ain't really giving you a whole hell of a lot, and neither is Charbonnet. I'm not huge on anybody in that Green Bay passing offense. Everyone is really limited, and Christian Watson has just been a damn bust. Reed does seem to get the most consistent amount of targets there. I will say that. I'm on the fence on this one. What do you think, dude? It's essentially Bijan for KW3 and Tank Dell. That's a fair trade.
It is.
Squirt gun to my head. Give me the KW3 Tank Dell side.
Same. Yep. I'm going to agree with you on that too. Jake said he'll check it out. Awesome. We got lots of good stuff.
Appreciate you, Jake.
Josiah back.
2-8. 2-8 in a 12-man half PPR. Lineup is Goff, Brees, Eckler, Chase, Diggs, Monty, and Ferguson. Lost about 5 close games. I can empathize. And hoping you can slide into the last playoff spot. You got some talent there. Goff's schedule for the rest of the season makes him an excellent play. I think he'll be a top 8 play the rest of the way. Brees, that Jets offense they've got to figure something out. The kind of word around the campfire is now that Aaron Rodgers is saying he's going to be back in mid-December to help save Nathaniel Hackett's job. We'll see what the hell happens there. With that wide receiver core and Monty there, Josiah, you've got as good a shot as anybody at making that comeback from 2-8 to sneak into the last playoff spot. And once you get in the playoffs, anything can happen. Good luck to you, brother. Appreciate you stopping by.
Yep. Yeah, you just said I'm going to head out. Nice listening to you guys. Good luck. All right. I think we're done with. You got any more Steelers Browns?
No. I was surprised we picked that one to begin with. So,
well, I actually picked it just because.
Well, you've got your little love affair with Matt Canada now that he's down on the sideline instead of up there in the booth.
The big thing in that game is going to be turnovers. Browns lead the NFL in giveaways. Steelers are tied for the league lead in takeaways. So something's going to break there.
And the Steelers don't turn the ball over.
No, exactly. Okay, we are on to this one. Aces and Deuces, right? Start, sit. We never talked if we were going to just show Ramey's or it's not really important.
I mean, they're going to be wrong anyway. Why would we subject our team to that or our people to that?
All right. If you would like to go first, you can.
All right. Let me find mine here. My first ace. Raiders running back Josh Jacobs. Miami is a middling defense against running backs. The Raiders are going to look to keep the clock running in this game. They know they sure as shit cannot win in a shootout against Miami. So they're going to do everything they can to shorten the game. He also gets elite usage, 78% of the snaps and the attempts, 53% route participation. As far as that backfield there, it's Josh Jacobs and nobody else. Since Antonio Pierce has come over, he's brought a little bit as the head coach. He's brought a little bit of common sense back to the Raiders. They're using Devontae Adams. They're using Josh Jacobs, and they've got a rookie QB there who they really are doing everything they can to hide.
Yeah.
My second ace is not on here. So anyway, it is Tank Dell. This is twice you've done this to me now.
It was on there earlier. Yep. That's
next. Weird. Yep. Next ace is Tank Dell. He's a boomer bust wide receiver on a hot streak with a hot QB at an excellent matchup at home. Nico Collins probably going to be back, but they work different parts of the field, and he's produced with Nico Collins on the field as well. Start him with confidence. I think he's going to have another 15 to 20 point game. You want to do your aces that you all conveniently have graphics for?
I don't understand it because it was in there. I triple checked this stuff, and I'll tell you later after the thing. My first one is Broncos running back Javonte Williams. Past 3 games, he's had at least 18 touches and 3 catches in each. Some top running backs that have scored against Minnesota. I guess the top 3. I can't talk of them. Let me start over. William is worth starting as a number 2 running back in all leagues. I think the Vikings with their league leading blitz rate at 49%, which is just ridiculous. It's like the next team is like 42%. It's insane. I think Denver will negate that pass rush, that blitz by running the damn ball. I like Javonte this week versus the Packers. My next one is Commanders running back Brian Robinson. He's had a touchdown in 4 of the past 5 games. He'll be in the RB2 flex conversation this week. And he faces a Giants team that, has nothing to play for. I'll say it nicer this time, Matt.
Nothing to live for?
Yeah. The Giants defense has allowed 4.5 yards per rush. That's the second most rushing yards, and they 23.1 fantasy points per game to runners in 2023. I think it's a solid number 2 in all leagues. Maybe a flex if you have to.
All right. I'm going to run out Ramey's aces here just because they need to be a matter of public record. At his first
Cardinals
ace.
QB, Kyler Murray.
Yes, because reasons. I don't know what they are. I don't know if he does either. His other ace is inexplicably Zay Flowers. I mean,
not sure about that one, but
at least it wasn't Josh Downs. And now it's time to get into our deuces. My morning deuce is Najee Harris. He's done well the past few weeks, but he's going up against a defense that should stifle Kenny Pickett and really the whole offense. I think the offensive line is going to struggle. Myles Garrett is just going to wreak havoc there. And there's some history there with those two teams as well.
Oh, yeah.
I think if anybody's going to produce out of the backfield, is going to be Jalen Warren. And my second deuce, after work deuce, and it pains me to say it, it's Lions running back David Montgomery. It's not that I think he's going to do super poorly. It's just that I think this is going to be more of a Goff and Jahmyr Gibbs game. I think it's going to be a lot of passes to the backs out of the backfield, and that's where Jahmyr Gibbs has really excelled lately over the past several weeks. We can't really count on a 75-yard rushing touchdown every week from anyone, especially somebody who is the archetype of David Montgomery. I think the Lions win. It's just not going to be a big Monty game.
Could happen. I get it. I understand. My first deuce is Chiefs running back Isaiah Pacheco. He's been in kind of a rut here lately, scoring fewer than 7 fantasy points in each of the last 2 games. And he's not going to get much help this week going against the Eagles, who have allowed just 1 rushing touchdown since week 5, total of 2 on the season. I mentioned earlier, no running backs rushed more than 59 yards on them. Only 1 running back has scored 15 points on them, and that was Breece Hall. I just don't like his chances to rebound this week, so I would fade him. My second one is George Pickens. He's seen his totals, tumble in the last few weeks. He's scored a combined 18.5 fantasy points on just 14 targets. Some of that has to do with Deontay Johnson coming back. Some of that has to do with the way that the Steelers offense is now, like I mentioned earlier, they're running the ball 55.5% of the time. And the Browns defense, they've given up no touchdowns to wide receivers and the fewest fantasy points to wide receivers. So
I just want to point out I have both those players on the same team in the keeper league.
Cool. That you have to start because you have, whatever.
Right.
But and that's the data, but it's the NFL any given Sunday, right?
That's it. All right. Public record. Ramey's first deuce, Bills wide receiver Gabe Davis. I accept that.
Yep, for sure.
Second one, Buccaneers QB Baker Mayfield. Not a Baker fan. I wholeheartedly endorse his deuceness.
Agreed. Lock. Okay.
Sweet. Now it's time for locks of the week.
Yeah, I think I got a graphic for that. It's not important.
For you.
Oh, there it is. Oh, there it is. Kind of.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, it's my turn for locks? I thought you were going.
Yeah, I have no graphic. You and Ramey have one.
This is weird. This is so weird. All right. I made these new graphics too. I thought they look better. My lock of the week is Cardinals at Texans -5. Texans have been playing well. They're back at home now, taking on a Cardinals defense that's giving up the 5th most points per game at 26.3 and rushing yards per contest, 134 a game. I expect the Cardinals to have a much tougher time on the road against a high-flying Texans team. I think they can beat the Cardinals by a touchdown, even with Kyler.
Nice. I think it'll be a good game. My lock of the week, Sans video aid. Seahawks -1 at the Rams. I get it. Matthew Stafford might be back this week. That Rams team is really going nowhere fast. It's Stafford, it's Puka Nacua, and it's Cooper Kupp, and they really ain't got shit else. While I'm not a Geno guy at all, I just think they're the better team. And even though it's at LA, I think in the end the Seahawks will come out on top. And with them only laying a point, in my mind, worst case scenario here is a push.
Yeah, I got that as a sneaky game to go over. Matt Stafford's back. It looks like he's playing. He's practiced fully. Could go over the 46. Could.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, could.
Ramey's lock of the week, Cowboys minus 10.5 at the Panthers. This is actually one that I considered. The Cowboys beat the shit out of the bad teams that they play. It's, they haven't really beat anyone that's all that great. And, they did lose to the Cardinals somehow earlier in the season, but, it is what it is. That was a long time ago, and both teams are very different now. I endorse the laying the 10.5 there.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Excellent.
This was
Another
fun.
excellent preview. Good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go blue. Kind of bummed on the Harbaugh thing, but
Yeah,
that's
a lot of bummed.
That's going to be really rough in 8 days.
Well, like you and I were talking earlier, like if they lose the game, then like excuse is already built in.
Yep.
So it's really there's no way from a saving face standpoint. Like this is just a win-win for Michigan because either they win and then we get to brag, or they lose, and that shit just because Harbaugh wasn't there and he got suspended over some bullshit anyway. So Michigan really got robbed.
Yeah,
that's the narrative.
Excellent. Yeah, doesn't look like there's any more questions going on. I think we'll wrap her up. Remember this Sunday at 11:30 a.m. for Tinker Time. We call it Tinker Time because you tinker with your lineup, in case anybody was wondering. Sometimes for the good, or sometimes to your detriment, which we both can attest to.
Right, but we're here to make sure that doesn't happen to you.
Right. So again, 11:30 live. Answer all your lineup questions, roster management questions, and this is the last week for trades in most leagues. So we'll be available for that as well, even on the socials. Message us on the comments of this live replay. We'll answer quickly on it too if you got some trade questions. Being that it's the last week. I tried to pull one off with Ramey yesterday, but he must have just not looked at it or cared. So I withdrew it today.
What was it?
I don't remember. Oh, I was trying to get Nico Collins off of him.
Oh.
I don't remember who I was sending. But
you interested in trading Tyreek Hill?
No. Definitely not. That guy sent me. Oh, Domo was in the chat. Hold on. We got a quick question. I was offered Bijan and Deontay Johnson for Monty and D-Hop.
That's a good one. And I understand the concern about Gibbs getting even more workload. I don't think that's going to be the case. They just had the opportunity to work Monty back in as opposed to saying, oh, hey, you're back from injury. Here's 32 carries. Please stay healthy. Sure, they did it a little bit more intelligently this time around. This is
he only had 12 carries last week.
Right. And he did a great job with them.
Sure did.
Deontay Johnson is a target monster, and it's funny because the two players involved in this trade, Deontay Johnson and D-Hop, were the same two we were talking about when Deontay Johnson come back, and there was a couple start-sit questions between those two, and we all went with D-Hop, and I mean, it was relatively close. You know what? I'm going to stick with Bijan and Deontay Johnson. I think this is a case where it's going to be better to dance with who you brought. Monty,
he was offered Bijan. He has Monty and D-Hop.
Oh, yeah.
Did I hear you wrong? Okay.
No, I'm just illiterate. Well, I could read most of it this time. Yeah, I'm going to take that Bijan and Deontay Johnson for Monty and D-Hop there. I like that trade. I think, yeah, he's got Monty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. And as I was saying, the concerns with Gibbs's workload are very, very valid. I think you'll see things start to even out more here over the next few weeks. I think Arthur Smith is just tired of hearing about Bijan all the damn time. And I think he's succumbed to peer pressure there. So I think Bijan's workload going forward is going to be a bit bigger than it was earlier in the year as well.
Yeah. Yeah, he had 22 carries last week. Art's getting the message, I think. Yeah, I agree with you on that. I think the upside for Bijan and the fact that Deontay Johnson is a target hog. Of course, Pittsburgh's not passing as much now, but if you could get Bijan, I would do it.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by, Domo. If you haven't already, please give us a like and subscribe. We'd really appreciate your support. And we are here to answer all of your questions every week.
Nathan H. Brees Hall or Mixon? Just a standard.
Standard. Oof. That's an interesting one. And you don't see many standard leagues around all that much anymore. It's an old man league, as Jeff Ratcliffe calls it. Ain't nothing wrong with that either, too.
No.
I mean, in standard, Brees Hall is RB15, Joe Mixon is RB17. They're separated by 1.5 points.
Yeah.
I mean, essentially, they're the same player. I'll say Mixon over Brees Hall just because it's a better offense.
Same.
And I say that with confidence as well.
I agree with you with confidence as well.
Sweet. Thanks for stopping by, Nathan. You know the drill. If you haven't already, please consider giving us a like and subscribing to our channel. We're here every Tuesday and Thursday evening at 7 Eastern to answer all of your start, sit, waiver wire, and team management questions. And we're here every Sunday morning at 11:30 a.m. Eastern to help with those last-minute lineup decisions. He's worried about that Ravens D. Yeah. That's a valid concern. Just that offense is so bad in New York there with the Jets. Like, Zach Wilson is not an NFL quarterback. I would not be surprised if he's out of the league here in a couple of years. Somebody might pick him up thinking they can kind of give him a reboot and see if they can do something with him. But
he can get rebooted down to the XFL, USFL, combined league, or whatever the hell it is.
Yep.
And it being a Thursday night game. Yep. Just don't put him in your flex.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, and as we get to this time of year, we have to remember, like, don't outsmart yourself.
Right.
You know, you can feel like the smartest guy in the room, or you can win. You can have one, but not both.
Excellent. Wrap her up. Looks like everybody dropped off. We only got two. It's probably Kip and Buff.
With us till
I'll stay on here for a while. I just got to pee.
Took your Flow Max, huh?
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Got that overactive bladder, you know.
So if there's one game, one matchup this week that we didn't talk about that you're really interested in watching, which game would it be?
Oh, we talked about that. Oh, God. Well, it would help if I'm in the right week, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah, probably. For me, it's the Niners and the Buccaneers.
Okay.
We got Blue Jays. Do a watch along. That's not a bad idea. I'm surprised people would want to listen to us for that damn long. Thursday night game.
Well, we could. Coleman does one and probably trash by the end.
He ain't got to work in the morning.
Maybe Seahawks Rams, just because I think it could go over. Could be some scoring in that. Well, apparently Stafford's not having any issues gripping the ball, so that's good.
I do like that idea, Blue Jays. Probably not tonight, but definitely coming up. We'll do one. Maybe we'll do that. So what we are talking about doing, and I realize I'm saying this now at the 1 hour and 8 minute mark of tonight's episode, but as we are on our march to 100 subscribers, once we hit our 100th subscriber, we're going to do some kind of special. And I think maybe a Thursday night watch along would be a pretty damn good idea.
Yeah.
What do you think, Kyle?
I'd be okay with that. I'm sure we're talking about some personal shit for us. We could probably just do that in the same space. So
yeah, absolutely. Be a lot longer conversation.
That. Yeah. I would do that for sure.
Awesome.
Heck yeah.
And you know, I have Ramey's proxy, so it's anonymous, unanimous.
Right. I mean, it's volunteer. He can join or not. Either way.
That's true. Can drop off for supper.
Yeah, supper.
It's a lot of fun. I enjoy doing this.
Same. Take us out. We'll watch this football game. It's supposed to be a good one.
Better be a good one. If it's not, I blame you.
Okay.
All right. That's going to wrap it up for us. Big thank you to Blue Yays, Nathan, Domo, Supersonic Loudboy Enterprise, Kip and Buff, and everybody else who joined us tonight. Again, if any of you are catching this after the fact and you have questions, drop them in the comments. We got you. We'll get you squared away, and we'll get you up there on the podium and in the winner's circle. On behalf of Kyle and the absent Ramey, have a great night. Good luck with your matchups this week. And we will talk to you Sunday morning at 11:30.
Have a good night, folks.
End stream. Where's that goddamn